Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Well, yes, Sunday's rolled around again,
Yeah, another bank holiday weekend.
which normally means rain, and there has been. So we're on track for a good bank holiday.
We have forecasts for thunderstorms, but we've had none at all.
We've had rain, but when it's rained, it has rained like torrential rain, and then it's really weird. So we've had the torrential rain, and the sun comes out 20 minutes later. It's really warm. So, but it's on. We all down here, down in the south. We always get. It always rains on every bank holiday. Always.
So
So.
Up here in north, we never know what weather's going to do. They never get it right.
No, that's for sure.
We expect thunderstorms, and we get nothing at all.
Yeah, you can. They can find you when you drive past the speed camera, but they can't tell what the weather's going to be like or anything else.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I've never really been flashed by a speed camera.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no. Once I was, but it taught me a valuable lesson. And I was only
slow down just before it and then speed up.
Well, no, I was only doing 3 miles per hour over the speed limit.
You can.
I was in my first 2 years of driving,
right?
And I think it was about 6 months after passing my test. Taught me a valuable hobby of never to speed. Because if I'd got another 3 points, I would have had to go do my license again.
Retake it, yeah.
So,
but yeah, what do you want to discuss tonight, Mark?
Well, it's been very quiet, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
It's been very, 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 not a lot happening. I know we've still got delays in certain parts of the world, in the USA and everything. But it has been rather quiet. But a couple of things that have come up that I want to mention. The first one is DeLorean.
Yes.
So I started my DeLorean with Eagle Moss, and then obviously I've carried it along with Fan Home. And I always said I actually watched back on my first ever DeLorean video the other day. Even in that, I said I was going to take it to the Back to the Future 3 car, which I have done. And I'm waiting now for my last pack. Now, if you remember when Fan Home took over the Ecto 1, Fan Home turned around and said the very last issue, which I believe was 141, they weren't doing. And 141 was basically just a cover for the Ecto 1.
Yeah.
So my thought was, since I've been doing the extension, would they do that? Now, I'm sure I remember when I looked into the DeLorean with Fan Home, they said it did go up to 159 issues, which meant that was the book and the cover for the DeLorean. I know it was naff anyway. But, so my last pack has been generated, and I can tell you, you do not get issue 159 with the DeLorean. So you're not going to get the book with all the instructions in, and you're not going to get the cover either.
Yeah, so, I always, I think the dust covers are quite good to have when you're building the car. Once it's built, you don't really want to cover it up and make it so you can't see it anymore. And I think that's why Fan Home haven't done that, because they feel that you don't want to wrap this thing up once you've built it. You want to look at it. But also, but it's interesting, yeah.
It does fantastic covers over at Partwork Upgrade.
Yes.
We know that. So,
yeah, and like I said, they're worth getting as you're building, so they don't get dusty.
So it's not as if we can't get a cover for it. We just know that is now, or I can say now, that is definitely not going to come in your subscription for the DeLorean. You will not get issue 159, which it doesn't really bother me, because like you said, why would you cover it? Unless you were transporting it, or you were doing maybe some decorating or things that are going to get dusty, then yes, maybe cover it. But like I said, Ian does fantastic covers over at Partwork Upgrade, so it's not like we can't get a cover for it.
Yeah, I was going to say go over to Partwork Upgrades because they've got them there. So,
but then this did crop up, and I said this to you before, Kev. I said, well, what if Eagle Moss had actually produced stock for 159? Why would they just throw away stock?
Yeah.
which my theory is would that stock appear on their web shop if it ever or eventually gets launched?
It may do. It may do. I guarantee you right now, Eagle Moss probably somewhere had stock for it. So, including maybe even the magazines, or the magazine. That's an interesting one. We'll have to keep an eye out on that.
It's a bit like the white wall tires. So
yeah,
the white wall tires were included sort of like in the subscription, and I did mine after, and they weren't, but I could buy
they were a special, if I remember rightly. You had to pay extra for them.
Yeah. So I bought mine from the Eagle Moss shop originally, which obviously no longer exists. So I'm going to be interested in what does appear on the fan home shop and what you can, if you can still get these things, because the problem is the rarer they get, the more expensive they are
on the secondary market. Yeah, definitely. It'd be interesting to see if they. Well, it'd be interesting, full stop, to see what they're going to offer on their web shop. Because I know obviously Hachette offer everything on their web shop.
Yeah, I mean, remember when Eagle Moss went under and people had spare Ecto 1 parts, people were offering ridiculous amount of money for them parts.
Yeah,
and you would see them going on online auction sites, and they were to say you would have got them parts for $9.99. What, they times 10 in price.
It happened. I remember that happened with the Routemaster parks as well. When that finished with Hachette, I remember some of the prices of the issues were like 30 quid.
Well, you look at an example for that is you look at it. People didn't want the figurines when they came out with Hachette. They were like, "Oh, that's just a waste." You look at how much them figurines are now looking. The price of them are on the online shop. It's amazing. They are commanding a lot more than what their original price was because you can't get them through Agora.
Yeah, which is, I think Agora saw it and thought, well, no one wants the figurines, and then a lot of people actually did. And I remember they did say that they may offer it at the end of the build, but they never did they? They never did.
Well, the problem is if they offered them at the end of the build, and I think I said this mid when Agora, like Dave Say was building it.
Yeah.
And you sort of closed in the upper deck, and it was like, well, they can't offer the figurines now because how would you even get them in?
Yeah, because you had, I think you got all the figurines before you put the first deck down. So you could decide if you want how many people you want downstairs, sort of thing.
Yeah. So even if you got them after the build or they were offered after the build, you couldn't.
You wouldn't be able to put them in.
No. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. So there is definitely no 159 with the DeLorean. Okay. So
that's good to know for people that are building it. So
yeah. So you only get for me, the last pack of the extension is only 3 issues, which is 156, 157, and 158, and that's what I've been charged for. So yeah. Crazy. But that's the DeLorean.
Yeah, like you're saying, they might pop up on the web shop. So it'd be worth keeping an eye out when the shop launches, because it's supposed to launch before the end of the year, before the end of this year. So yeah, I'm sure it'll get posted and people will be talking about it anyway.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know what was going to happen, and when the pack got generated this week, I was like, right, okay, so that's exactly what happens.
Yeah,
with it. So. They don't want to do covers.
Fair enough.
So there you go. Even though I remember seeing Wayne get that last one, and the cover was not great at all. It didn't even have the DMC logo on it.
No. This is why you get yourself over to Partwork upgrades.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want a proper one. Anything else?
Yeah, something that's been going on in the groups. And I think I asked you to speak about this, Kev, is people selling their builds. Agostini, Agora, and Fanhome that are not complete.
Yeah. If you've noticed lately, this normally always, I've got to say this as well, it always happens with every build that I've ever built. You get a lot of people halfway through or after about 4 or 5 packs, they give it up. They, financial changes, or they can't be bothered, or whatever, and they give it up. Now, with Eaglemoss, years ago, with Eaglemoss and with Hachette, currently, you can actually either take over their account or you can carry on from the part that you finished. So if you say you go up to issue 13, pack 3 or whatever, you could then go from pack 4 and string them up, and you can do that with Hachette, and you could do that with Eaglemoss. But with Fanhome, you can't do that. And I have brought it up on a lot of occasions, people selling their builds, and I think a lot of people still don't know that you cannot start from any issue on Fanhome. Now, you could, not long ago, you were one of them, I'm one of them with the old Eaglemoss, but that has all been shut off now. That was only open for a year. So yeah, if you're buying it, you're buying it for spares, because you can't carry on that build unless you find someone that has got the extra packs later on or whatever. You can't carry on. But I have seen lots and lots of people giving up their builds, and I've seen lots of people buying them or going to buy them and then realizing you can't then start from that issue. You have to start from issue 1 again. And also that then puts the price quite far down. So I see a lot of people asking for like £200 or £300, which is the value of up to that pack. But if you can't start from that pack onwards, it lowers the price dramatically, because you're only buying it for spares effectively.
I mean, some sellers I've seen, they do say, I can sort out you taking over the subscription and everything, which apparently I've heard is really easy to do. You just phone them up and you just change it all over. That's what I've heard on Facebook and everything. But yeah, unless you can take over the subscription, then it is basically spare parts. Yeah.
I haven't double checked that myself. If you can take over, I know you can change the address, and obviously I know you can change bank details. So I would imagine you can change the name on it as well. So if you can do all 3, that means you can basically take over someone else's account.
That's what I've seen on Facebook. I'm not saying that from Fanhome directly. That is only what I've read. I don't know, because you've got email addresses and stuff like that. I'm not too sure. If you're going to do that, I would always check with Fanhome first before doing it. You don't want to buy it and then find out actually you can't do it. Yeah.
So always check, double check, triple check everything else.
I've seen it a lot happen, because people are starting to get charged now for the 6 issues, to say, like the Nissan Skyline, people are being charged for the 6 issues. They probably didn't realize it was going to be as much as they did, and I've gone, I can't afford this. Right, I'll cut my losses. I'll sell what I've got. Yeah, you buy it. You've got to find a way to get the rest of the build.
Yeah. I think it's because there was a binder included in the next pack. So I think it works out at like £91 for the Skyline. So and remember as well, those binders or the folders or whatever you want to call them, they're optional. You can opt out of them, so you don't have to have them. You can ring up and say I don't want them and opt out, and then that saves you £10 every couple of months when they send one out.
To be perfectly honest with you, I think they're doing away with binders.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure before the end of the year, maybe they'll start phasing out the magazines.
Hachette do the binders on some of the builds, but they're a publishing company, we know that, so that's probably not much for them to do them. Fanhome, you get the binders for some of the older builds or the ones they took on from Eaglemoss, but if not, they are the can you call them?
They are these,
like
little files. which I think is a little bit better. If you've tried putting magazines in those enterprise ones,
Oh gosh,
pain
I call them the spine ones because basically you have to put the tabs into the
they're a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're a bit of a pain. There is also something else, bit of a good news, bit of a good play on our part is so I didn't realize this because I still use them. I don't know about you, Mark, but I still use the magazines to do my builds. I very rarely check the digital magazines, if at all.
If I'm building, yes, I use the magazine. If I can get a digital copy, I'll use that to download and snip out the instructions that I can put into the clips because that just saves me scanning them.
Yeah.
But if you're doing anything by Agora or you're doing the U96, they are all in PDF format. Right.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't normally check the file. I know that they're all there. Now, someone this last week said, why couldn't they access the Batmobile PDF or the download magazines?
Yeah, I saw that.
So I was like, and then they rang up and then they said it was only the download magazines were only for premium subscribers. And I was like, nah, that can't be right. So I went and I went along and I had looked myself and they were right. I couldn't see the PDF files. So I said to go to Fan Home, let them know. And he did, and a few other people did as well. And I can report now, because it was put on their customer service page, that the PDF or digital magazines are available to everyone now. And they're actually already on there. So they've already done it. So I would class that as a win because they should be available to everyone. Because I said at first, I went, no, you must be wrong because they wouldn't just class the digital ones just for premium subscribers. You know, I don't know why they would do that. And actually, like I said, when I looked, it was true. But now they're available for everyone. So I don't know what happened there, miscommunication, what happened. But all the digital assets for the magazines are now on your portal where they weren't before.
So what I've found with the digital downloads is the DeLorean, I never got them. Because of the continuation of the build. The Enterprise, I get them. And the Optimus Prime, I get them. But they only get released to look at as soon as your item has been dispatched.
Yes.
So you cannot view them until they say the item has been dispatched. Then you can go and download the digital downloads. Yeah.
They sort of you can mark them as received, can't you? It says mark as received or something.
Mark as remark or something.
That's it. Yeah, I don't really know what that's all about. I don't mark it.
I've never used
that.
I download them so I can do my little snippets out the instructions because that saves me scanning them. But apart from that, while building, no, I prefer a magazine in front of me, and I can work it from there. Yeah,
much better. I mean, I did build the Alien build with the digital PDF files, and I didn't like it. I much prefer the magazine, like you say. I much prefer the magazine because then you can actually physically, sort of look at it.
The PDFs are great if you've got a tablet that you can go.
Yeah, you can't look at them on a phone. You have to get a tablet or a computer screen or something.
Now, I did have a very old iPad, but that gave up the ghost. So for me, it's quite difficult to see them on a tab. So I don't have a tablet. So if I'm doing the Mura or I'm doing the U96, I've got to have them on this monitor, OBS on another monitor, and it's hard to see both sometimes. But
I do have an iPad, and I've also got an Amazon Fire thing as well. By the way, they're rubbish. Do not get an Amazon tablet. They are poor. They don't even have. It doesn't support YouTube, for starters. And there's a lot of operations it doesn't support. So I know it sounds bad, but yeah. Don't get an Amazon Fire tablet because they are poor.
I'm just old school. I prefer a magazine in front of me.
Yeah. I think we're kind of like the last. We're sort of the dying generation because a lot of people now coming into the builds are seeing them for the first time and they don't remember what we used to have. You know, go to the news agents every week and pick up our magazines, and it's all gone now. All those days have all gone.
That was the most exciting part of the week, going to the news agents and picking up the magazine.
Yeah, I used to go Wednesdays when most of the magazines come out, but Eagle Moss always came out on a Thursday. Wow. And I never really understood why you had D'Agostini and Hachette on a Wednesday and Eagle Moss on a Thursday. But I used to love going. Like I still do. I still go down and get me Tumblr issues. What is I don't know what you want to call it. 2 or 3 bits. That's about it.
You must spend more energy walking there than you do actually building it.
Oh yeah. I probably spend more time talking to the newsagent guy than I do actually building the build each week. At the moment, yeah. Because it's a very slow build. We were talking about it before coming on. It's coming along nicely. I mean, there's the bit that we finished, but this whole section is 6 issues to build this whole bit.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of just to build that little bit there. And it's like a lot of people go, well, that's quite big.
Did you see the guy that managed to find out he was on the Nissan Skyline group, and he managed to find out what every single upcoming issue of the Nissan Skyline.
Oh yeah. No, anyone can do that. Now, you know our friend Todd, who's like the genius of Partworks at the minute. So he's talked to a lot of the manufacturing companies, and he's got the list of all the parts for the Nissan, not just for the Nissan Skyline, I've got to say, the Enterprise build and loads of other builds. So always check his website, mypartwork.com. Always check it. But yeah, he had the list for ages, since before. I think before even the build came out, he had the whole list of parts already. But yeah, they're all on his site. But like I say, he's he's like the source of material he gets is unbelievable.
There you go.
So, but yeah, they're all from Todd's fantastic website. If you've not seen it, check it out, because the source of information on there is amazing. Especially when he breaks down like how to do the mods and stuff like that for each part. Yeah. But yeah, the parts list has been on there before the Nissan was released, and so I asked him if that was the full list. He said that's the list from the manufacturer, so it could change.
Yeah.
But looking at it and looking where the Japanese guys are, which they're on like issue 37 or 38, it actually lines up perfectly.
Yeah.
So it looks like that's the part list for it. So, but yeah. Always check out Todd's website. It's a rife of information on there.
I don't have it. I've got it bookmarked.
Yeah, I think we all have. But yeah, it was on there before. I did see the guy post it. I just always thought everyone knew because we've posted stuff about Todd's before, but obviously not.
If you're new to the game.
Yeah.
If you're new to the hobby, then yeah, you just never know.
No.
Right, let's go through some chat.
Yeah.
Get in position for this one. Right, so now I'm going to say first up on here, but I know D, I think, was in earlier. You said in the chat.
I was going to say D's got to be there, isn't he?
Is Spider Sprue says hello, Kev, on Mark's channel.
Oh yeah.
And he says hi, Mark, on Kev's channel. So hi, Spider Sprue.
I love that.
We've got David Phillips who says evening all, evening David, welcome.
Hi David.
And then we've got Dave Matt Bill who says good evening Mark and Kev, have a great stream tonight. Thank you, Dave Mark.
Hello, Dave.
We've got Mad Dad Hobbies in saying evening all, evening Mad Dad Hobbies, welcome.
Evening.
And then we've got Ian Campbell says evening hosts and also evening Ian.
Hi Ian.
And then we've got David Bassett in saying good evening Mark and Kev, and all in chat. So evening David.
Hi, David.
And then David Bassett says, heavy showers in Aylesbury this afternoon, Kev.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been it's been on and off here, but it's actually quite sunny outside now.
Yeah. Mad Dad Hobby says bank holiday means postage delayed by a day.
Yeah, only a day.
I don't know why we have bank holidays anymore. Everything's online.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know where they all come from, really, but
no. Okay, we've got Howard in who says, howdy, everyone. Hi, Howard. Welcome.
Hi, Howard.
And then he says, rain headed here today trying to get the crops in. And Spider Spruce says, once my back is better, I will catch up on my builds. The boxers are building up. Ooh, marathon build time.
Yeah, they sort of, it's the same here. You sort of go through them and then they build up again.
D says, as my comment from earlier is gone, a good evening, Mark and Kev. So, hi, D. Welcome.
Hi, D. Welcome.
Then we've got Daz Faulkner in says, how do everyone? Hi, Daz. Welcome to the stream.
Hi, Dad.
And Howard says, they actually sent me that from Eagle Moss early on, like I was at issue 60. So I did get issue 100. Oh, yeah. He says, 159. Yeah, so there's got to be stock for 159.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's stock somewhere, and they wouldn't just chuck it because, yeah, it'd be interesting. Unless they have chucked it, you'll be amazed at what companies throw out.
But like I said, it's just, yeah, it was just interesting what they do with that one. But
yeah, I was speaking to some ex-employees of Eagle Moss, and they said you want to see the stuff that they threw away. So they threw away a load of prototype stuff. Load of models, loads of stuff that was in the office, all straight in the bin.
Wasteful.
I think they also said they had an archive in Eagle Moss, and they binned it all.
Oh,
they binned everything. And in the archive, there was loads of prototype stuff that they made, stuff that didn't come out, loads of it, and it apparently just went in the bin. Yeah. So you'll be amazed at what sort of stuff people will chuck out. So maybe they might have chucked them. So
yeah. Howard says, I need to find 4 X-Wing issues. Oh gosh, they'd be hard to find.
Yeah, they'd be quite hard to find now because
yeah.
I mean that was under D'Agostini. It would, if it was ever, I'm surprised that hasn't got a re-release, though saying that it may very well get a re-release.
It might very well get a re-release, but it wasn't that great of a model.
I remember a lot of people complaining.
If you compare that model compared to the Millennium Falcon and the R2D2, yeah, they really got it wrong.
Dropped the ball on that one.
Panels not lining up, not fitting properly.
I remember all that work done on the engine just to put the cover on it.
Yeah, engine bits that you never see. People's wings weren't working properly as well because the gears were binding up. All sorts of problems with that. It wasn't the best quality of a build. I mean, it looked really good once it was done, but yeah, it really looked rushed to get it out, and by the end of it, it wasn't that great. I mean, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and that's coming from me. It wasn't that great at all. So, and bits fell off it quite easily. There you go. We've got David Philip says, I have all the figures for the Root Master unopened. Ooh.
You've got a little gold mine sitting there, Dave.
Well, yeah, just say eBay, here I come. So, yeah, they are.
Yeah, people, you'll be, yeah. You've got a little gold mine sitting there.
Fighting for them. But like I said, if you built the bust, you can't put them in.
No. I remember loads of people saying, they should have offered at least the conductor and the driver, if anything else. So, but yeah.
Yeah, they didn't offer any. We've got Helder in saying hi, Mark and Kev and everyone. Hi, Helder. Welcome.
Hi, Helder.
And Howard says, I was supposed to have gotten the diorama that was premium for the X-Wing, and Model Space ditched me on that. But a week ago, Marvel Phoenix had it and mentioned he didn't want it and sent it to me.
Oh, well done, Todd. Yeah.
Actually, I have all the diorama pieces for the X-Wing, and mine are in the loft and opened.
Oh.
So I actually have them all.
What was the diorama?
It was just little bits. Like there was some blocks, there was some LED lights as well that you could put down. Just basic bits and pieces.
Like the hangar stuff, like in the hangar bay stuff thing.
Yeah, the hangar stuff from Endor.
It had a little. Didn't it have a ladder with a bloke on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them was a pilot. That was the only one I used, was the pilot, and I put it in. But other than that, mine are all boxed up and never put them, because it's all right you're doing a diorama, but if you're limited for space, where do you put it?
Yeah. That's the problem I think a lot of people will find with the Apache. And obviously the Lancaster.
The Spitfire was the same. I got my Spitfire in a different base than what it came on, because the base was absolutely humongous.
Yeah.
And I did get all the diorama pieces for that and built them and everything, but just never set it up.
Yeah.
Even though the figurines for that diorama were absolutely shockingly painted. The eyes on them, they just didn't look right at all. But yeah, I do have all the X-Wing diorama pieces, just never done anything with them at all. They're in a bag in the loft, still boxed up. So there we go. But I think at the time I was planning to do the diorama, it just didn't have the space to do it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we've got Kevin and Mary in saying hi, Kevin, Mark, and everyone. Hi, Kevin and Mary.
Hi, Kevin and Mary. Oh, yeah.
Howard says, I think you'd be leery about buying another person's sub. If they cancel it, then you can't reopen it.
Right.
If you suspend a sub, it's easier, but you can sub it up to 3 months. Oh, yeah, you can suspend it up to 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Get one pack in, yeah. So I think we said that in the past about if you're wanting to do a build, then sign up for it and then suspend it if you can.
Yeah. And then every 3 months, just buy one issue and then suspend it again. Yeah. You can do that, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not ready, because I think back at the time we believed Fan Home, they weren't suspending models after a while. You could still always get them, and then obviously
that started.
When you can't. And then he's correct, between to suspend again. So, and Howard said, I built the Route Master with my iPhone. Yes, what a pain.
I had the magazine, so I was safe.
Yeah. But I mean, PDFs are great if you can read them properly. If not, then I'm old school. I like a good magazine.
Yeah.
Next we've got Ed Hughes, who says, better late than never. Evening all. Evening, Ed. Welcome.
Hi, Ed.
Right. I'm going to have to read these now. So Howard says, we don't have news agents in the USA, as far as I know, and Todd doesn't do every build. Yeah.
The thing, I think it's like newsstands. I think they're the closest thing you have to them in the States. But they have turned up at Walgreens.
Right.
I know that the Warhammer ones definitely. Warhammer 45 definitely have turned up there. So I don't. Yeah, you don't have that newsagent style what we have over here.
No. Even though the news agents are more or less on the way out over here anyway, so.
Yeah, well, that's due to people just ain't buying newspapers or magazines anymore. It's all digitalized.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a paper boy. I went and delivered the papers and went round and everything. And back then it was a proper news agent. It wasn't like it is now.
A supermarket. Yeah.
Well, actually, the news agents that I used to work for is now a hairdresser's. Go figure.
Yeah.
Howard says, by the way, I watched him struggle with the LaFerrari Pack 11 with the cruddy instructions. Yeah, I helped Horlicks with that one, and not that great.
What's that? Is that Agora?
Yeah, the LaFerrari.
I'm wondering if that LaFerrari was going to be done by Pincher, is it, or Poacher?
Poacher.
Just because the instructions look very similar to what they do. If you've seen their instructions for their builds.
Or would it have been, maybe it might have been done by Centura Panini, because they did the Ferrari F40, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't end well.
No, that didn't end very well, did it? It's one of those builds you don't see many of, because I don't think many people actually finished it.
No. Ed Hughes says, Eagle Moss, that's disgusting to throw all that away. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was told by ex-employees they saved some bits, but there was too much for someone I know to save all of it. But yeah, all the prototypes, all of their archive stuff, yep, just straight in the skip outside.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Ian says, I'm surprised the administrators allowed Eagle Moss to throw stuff out when money could have been gained from them.
No, it was all the stuff from the offices. So all the stuff on the offices, and their archive was full of obviously everything that they brought out, plus prototypes that never were released ever. And obviously when everyone left, they just left it there. So they just come along and cleared the whole lot. You'll be, like I said, though, you'll be amazed at what these shops throw away. Yeah, like literally just chuck it straight in the bin. If a shop closes down or moves and you go round the back, you'll find a load of stuff brand new they've just chucked in the bin. You'll be honestly surprised what gets chucked out. I mean, I worked for many years ago. One of my very first jobs, actually, I worked for Argos. And we done a warehouse audit, and up the top, in the corner, I found a box, and it was full of Star Wars figures, the old Star Wars figures from 2005 and all that sort of stuff. No, it was older stock than that, I think. But anyway, I had Doctor Who figures, and I said to the manager, "What should I do with this?" And she went, "Just put them in the bin." She went, "Try the code, the SKU code on it on the machine." I put it in, and obviously it had been discontinued because it wasn't in the Argos catalogue anymore. And the manager said, "Chuck it away." And obviously at the time I weren't into all that, so we just chucked it straight in the bin. Brand new, unopened Doctor Who figures straight in the bin.
Oh no.
So you're amazed at what stuff goes through, because some stuff comes back and it's damaged, and some places just chuck it and you think there's nothing actually wrong with that. You'll be amazed.
A lot of that was happening when COVID happened, wasn't it? That people were sending stuff like back to Amazon and they couldn't resell it. So they had to get...
Some companies sell some of the return stock, but lots and lots of stuff gets chucked away. Lots of stuff.
Yeah. We've got Ian's World of Models in, says, better late than never. Evening, Kevin, Mark and fellow builders. Been finishing the Agora 1963 Stingray. What a last backpack. Pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Stingray, it's an interesting one, that one.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange vehicle.
Yeah.
Definitely strange vehicle. Howard says figures, cockpit, and a guy on a ladder with a hose and one on a cart. That were the diorama pieces for the X-Wing. So, but yeah, I definitely still got mine in the loft. Howard also says, makes you wonder what prototypes they were working on. Yeah.
I mean, if you were able to get there, you could find out. Because there was a lot of stuff, I think, that they made that never materialized. I know that because back in the day, Ben Robinson used to show us some stuff he was working on, and some stuff never got released. And some stuff that they were working on just before they closed as well. So there was a lot of stuff there that they were working on, Doctor Who figures as well as Marvel stuff. So yeah, be interested. I don't know if it'll ever come out what they were working on, but yeah.
It's a shame, but would have been nice to know what they were actually looking at.
Yeah, but then again, I think a lot of these companies now are doing that sort of are bringing back the stuff that they passed on. And so now it probably would have to be kept shut because of licensing and everything else.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, there's probably a lot of prototype stuff out there somewhere. Someone probably would have had it.
Spice Blue says, I'm waiting for my Mike Lane Dash mod, so I paused my build at 83, so I have all the parts to finish, but it will be easier to take apart. Is that the Knight Rider? Yes. Yeah. So that's a nice mod. If it's the one that's recent, yeah. Yeah. Serious work's gone into that. Yeah. That is crazy mod. It does look, that'd be amazing to have him, but yeah, that is the sort of take your model to the next level. You know, you see mods. This is a mod. You know, that's not next level. That's way above next level. You wait, because they're getting so good at these mods. They're going to be. Well, you can actually turn the car on with a key. You can stick the little ignition in and turn it, and it all comes on. There is one. Oh, what? Really? There is one. Not a Partwork, but I've seen a 1/8 scale. I think it was a Rolls Royce or something. And literally, you put this key in, open the door, turned it on, and everything. Oh, that's the next stage. I think it was that's the next stage, isn't it? Yeah. My dad hobby says I played Paperboy. No, I was a Paperboy. I remember the game. It was frustrating, that game. I was it weren't the sort of game I would go for, because I think it was Mario more. I was like Duck Hunt and Mario for me. I remember the game. I never played it, but I remember the game coming out. But yeah, that was nothing compared to getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning, doing a paper round, then after school doing a second paper round. So yeah, they were the days. They were the days, as they say. Yeah. Howard says we need the Landmaster from Damnation Alley. What's Damnation Alley? Landmaster. I can't picture that. I don't know what that is. I'm not even too sure what that is either. I've heard it rings a bell. I just can't picture it at the minute. Yeah. I can't picture it. Ian says, I don't with LaFerrari was a poacher as it had no sprues, which is come on with the poacher. Yeah. Yeah, they leave all their stuff on sprues, but Partworks tend to take them off, don't they? They tend to take off the sprues. Even though sometimes I mean, if it's small parts, if you did like the Bismarck or like the U96, they're coming on sprues, but I think that's safer for for shipping. Yeah. Howard says Harshett offered the LaFerrari from what Todd said. I thought that it's an older build. How old is that car? I don't know how old the car is. No, I'm not too sure either. It's fairly modern. I wouldn't say it was an old car, but because the Lamborghini Miura, that's an ex-Harshett Partwork. So packaging on it. Yeah. Kevin and Mary say they finished the F40 Ferrari. I heard it wasn't the best build though in the world because the instructions made no sense. Made no sense at all. Yeah, and I think a lot of people got held up because of COVID, and they were charging people, and people weren't getting stuff, and it turned out a bit missing near the end, if I remember rightly. Yeah. Spiders Brew says Eagle Moth getting rid of the evidence. Maybe. Todd says hello and good evening. Todd, welcome.
Hi, Todd.
And then Spice Brew says, and if you take the stuff they thrown, you would be stealing. You can't win. No, that's true.
I've just been sent a picture of the Landmaster.
Okay.
And it's got an interesting sort of tread design and looks really cool, actually.
Right.
It's a military vehicle, and it's got sort of treads on each side. A bit like a tank tread, but they're like individual ones. It looks quite good with a turret on the top. Looks, interesting. Military always sells really well. We've mentioned it on the show a few times.
Yeah.
Military does seem to sell quite well. Also, as well, I just want to say, did you hear about the Spitfire plane crash at the weekend?
No, I haven't heard about it.
There was a air display, and one of them crashed, the Spitfires. I don't think there's many of them about anymore, so it's a bit tragic for one of them to go down.
Yeah. Okay. Mad Dad Hobby says they met toy company in Swansea who made Corgi skipped most of their stuff when they closed down.
Yeah, you'll be surprised when places close or move how much stuff gets chucked away. Saying that, my dad obviously works as a postman as well, and there was a shop because he does the postal round in the town centre where he lives, and a shop just left. It was an autograph shop, and there was the manager of the centre said, "Do you want any of these?" And my dad goes, "What?" And he walked in and he said, "I'm not going to lie to you. There was a wall, about a 2-metre wall, full of signed autograph stuff, footballers, film stars." And my dad goes, and he goes, "What do you want?" And Dad was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, we're just going to put it in the bin." He goes, "Do you want some?" So Dad grabbed a load of stuff signed. I've got Robocop picture signed. He got a Robocop picture, some footballers, some Arsenal footballers, all officially signed with certificates and everything. That the company left when they left it all.
Wow.
There was even Dad said there was even a signed Man United boot that someone had signed, and it was all in a frame and everything, just left there.
Wow.
And they were just going to just dump it. They were just going to put it in a skip, and Dad got some bits, and that was it. That's my little tale. But yeah, like I said, you'll be amazed at what companies throw out.
Todd says Chloe at Modz is also making a dashboard for kit.
Oh, right. Okay.
So yeah, I'll have to watch out for that. Well,
yeah,
I'm not doing the kit, but yeah. Then Todd actually says, I think the supercar Blondie showed off the 1/4 scale DB5 model.
I did see that.
That turned it in. Yes, that's what I watched. That was amazing. Though.
You watch, that'll be the next thing. You get a little key, you put it in, you turn it, and it lights up and starts.
Yeah, definitely. Howard says, actually, the Eagle Moss DB5 used a flat key to make the connection to power the car.
Who?
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
No.
Yeah. Okay. J-Mac Bill says, I know the Landmaster from Destination Alley, that would be a great build to do. I'm going to have to look that up after the stream.
Yeah, it's a film, Destination Alley, and then the Landmaster is like this, like, I don't know, sort of like half track, I would say.
Right, hang on. Here we go with the LaFerrari. Todd says the LaFerrari was originally a 2016 release from Hachette, then Centuria, then back to Hachette, and now Agora.
Yeah, you'll be really amazed at how many builds get passed around like that.
Yeah.
I think Willie's Jeep's one of them. I think was a re-release before Eagle Moss did it.
That's now with IXO as a full kit.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of builds. I mean, take the wooden Titanic. That was originally Hachette that went to Eagle Moss. There's a lot of builds that come out and you kind of go, oh, that's cool. That's a new build. And it's like, no, that's not. That's been released before.
Yeah. Ian's World Model says, I think this spinner police car from Blade Runner would make a great Partworks.
There's a lot of car sort of builds that you could do from a lot of films.
And okay, it's nice to do cars, but so many cars.
There are. I think it's because they're easy to do, and they've done them and they sell pretty well. But they are moving on. We've seen things like the Alien, the Terminator, RoboCop, Optimus Prime. So they are sort of moving away from those as well. If you know what I mean, the traditional Partworks.
There's just so many cars, and just can we have something different than cars?
Yeah, I think the next thing should be like a passenger plane.
Just give us something different.
747 or Concorde. I mean, would anyone be interested in building a big model of Concorde?
I would build it, but
like in the scale of, like, I don't know, maybe the same size as the Lancaster, but not in the same scale, because I think it would be too big. But in that same sort of size would be cool.
That would go down in the UK and in France, and if you could change which livery you wanted, so if you wanted it British Airways or Air France. So
that's what I'm saying, because they could, a company could bring that out in France in the French levy, and then in the UK in the British levy.
Yeah. Gotta be British Airways for me. D says, was a Battle of Britain Mark 9 Spitfire near Coningsby? Right.
Yeah, I did hear about it.
I have to look that one up, actually.
Yeah, it was on an air display and it crashed, and I was thinking that's a bit devastating. Not obviously because of the crash, but obviously because there's not many Spitfires about. So for one of them to come down is quite unusual.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. I mean, I watched the Warplane workshop, and that must have been gutting for the people that worked on that for it to crash.
It's all volunteers as well. Yeah. So
it's not easy doing what they do. So Ian says, I did a mod for the Rossi, a bespoke micro sensor on the throttle that when turned gave revving sounds. Cool.
See, look. Now I reckon that's the next mod I reckon people should be looking into for these car builds.
Todd says, apparently Howard is correct. There was a tiny key that went into the ignition switch to trigger the power, but it did not turn.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So the technology's there.
I know with the Miura we get a key that you can put in and push and it does the engine sound.
Oh, okay. See, I've built all these car builds and not one of them's had that little nod.
No. David Bassett says, not the first time. When the 21st Century Studios closed on Slough Trading Estate, so many Thunderbirds puppets, models and sets ended up in the skip. Some of the surviving memorabilia was rescued, and it turned up when they redid it all, and it sold for a heck of a lot of money. So
a lot of if you can get like to anywhere where they're building films or anything like that, they leave stuff lying around. And so we live near Bovingdon, which is a big film studio now. But before that, it used to be a market, and a friend of mine went up, and they were filming one of the scenes for, do you remember in Wonder Woman where she's on the battlefield and they're all shooting at her and she's got her shield? Well, her shield was left by the grass near the market, obviously ones that they were working on, stunt double one, because it was like, it wasn't solid. It was all spongy. Like a friend of mine picked it up and took it home. And it's on his wall in his front room. And it's come from the Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie, where they were having that battle sequence, which was filmed up in Bovingdon, and they left a load of stuff on the floor, and he took it home. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Actually, saying that, I actually watched a short video earlier about the skeleton in the New Hope You know when C-3PO and R2-D2 on Tatooine, and you see the skeleton in A New Hope.
Yeah.
That was from a Disney movie 2 years before, and when they were clearing out all the stuff to go to Tunisia to film the Tatooine scenes, they found it in the studio and thought, you know what, that'd be a great idea if we could fit that in somewhere. So they packed that as well.
Yeah.
And then when they finished filming, they never took it away. And then obviously there were sandstorms in Tunisia, and yeah. And apparently the locals sell off bits of it for a heck of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like I said, you'll be amazed if you find anywhere there's filming and they've props and that. You'll be amazed at what just gets left behind.
Yeah.
So.
Spires Bruce says more Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely need Megatron. If we're going to get Megatron, I want. If they come to me and go, we're going to get Megatron, Kev, which one would you like? Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon Megatron for me. It looks more badass. It has his legs are almost like Optimus Prime's that we're building now. And yeah, that would look proper good.
He does say too many car builds. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of car builds.
Todd says the Apache helicopter coming from Agora was designed by Ligo, who does all the Mustangs, and tested in Japan in like 2017, but never went full run. Glad to see it coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was done by D'Agostini as well. It was going to get released from D'Agostini, I believe, in Japan. But yeah, there was another one that never got released as well. That only had a test one. That was an Enterprise build, but it was done in decks and it had all the interior decks.
Right.
And it was going to be released and it was tested in Japan, but it never went any further because they tested it when they had that terrible tsunami.
Yeah.
And sales went down. Of course they did. And they never released it, but it was the Enterprise, but it was sliced. So you'd have like deck one and it was a bit like, like the blueprints.
Yes.
The Enterprise D blueprints. It was exactly like that. So you would get like deck two and it would have all the bits and you'd put it on. And then when it was built, you could actually take it all apart and see all the different decks and what was on them.
Model Space did something similar with the Victory, the HMS Victory.
Yeah.
They sliced version that you could get. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ed Hughes is agreeing to Concord there. Howard says, let's do some tractors or construction vehicles.
They do a tractor Partwork, because I do believe Penny started doing one.
Right. I thought that was a 3D printed one, though.
No, I'm pretty sure she did. It was. I think they did a tractor one. It was released in Germany. I'm pretty sure she got hold of it somehow. It was years ago. Did it years ago?
Horlick said he had to 3D print the parts.
Right. Okay. So but I know they've done a tractor build. I think they've done it in Germany, but they have done a tractor Partwork.
Howard says Lego Concorde. Yes, there is the Lego Concorde. So,
I'm surprised they haven't because of the legacy that Concorde had. Yeah. Or a Boeing 747, because obviously there's not many of them about now. So,
my dad hobby says I think a Dalek would be a good build.
I'm all fingers, toes, and everything else crossed for that build because I'm definitely building that, whatever happens.
Yeah. Howard says I remember seeing the trial Partwork of the 16 Chapel.
Yeah. We don't get many building ones, do we? We've got the Eiffel Tower, but when you look at like the famous buildings around the world, you could have the Statue of Liberty. There's just a load, isn't there? Really, you could do. As a Partwork.
Go for it though.
But you'll be surprised. I reckon that Statue of Liberty could be quite a good one for a lot of people. But I always said as well, V5 rocket. Saturn. Lego done one recently, or even the space shuttle. A space shuttle build would be quite good.
Yeah. Helder says a power mod for the tumbler would be nice.
I think Ian's working on one, or he's done one already.
Yeah.
I think so. I think we've done one.
Daymark Bill says a lot of the car builds now have remotes, which is much better than trying to push little buttons.
100% with that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You've got to learn how to make remote controls.
I think the worst, it wasn't the little buttons inside. I think the worst ones were the pedal buttons.
Yeah.
Pushing the pedals to make stuff. I mean, that's all gone now, which is brilliant. But they were another thing where you had to sort of open the door and push stuff. And yeah.
D says, before the stream ends, I'll say goodnight, gents, and see you next week. Night, D. Thank you.
Here's D.
Spice Bruce says the Lamborghini Countach had a key to have the motor sound, but it didn't turn. Yeah, that's the same with the.
So it's like a little connector, like a little magnet connector, sort of. Right.
Dave Matt Bill says, been another great stream tonight, guys. Thank you, Dave, mate.
Cheers, Dave.
Howard says, unlike last week, more anime models. Japan gets all the cool stuff.
I'm surprised a lot of the Godzilla stuff. Now Godzilla's come out over here. I'm surprised a lot of the stuff hasn't come out partwork wise, because they did do a lot of Godzilla partworks in Japan.
Okay. Helder says, good night, everyone. Good stuff. Thank you, Helder. Good night.
Cheers, Helder.
Spiders Bruce says, tractor from Harshett, Germany.
I remember.
David Bassett says, a 112 scale Leyland National model, please.
Yes, yeah, I'll definitely do a national. Leyland National, yeah, definitely.
Dave McBill says, a NASA Boeing 747 with the space shuttle on it.
That'd be good.
Todd says, sent Mark a photo of the first design of the build, the Enterprise D with the acrylic decks inside.
Yeah, that was the first Enterprise build that they were going to do.
I'm just trying to see. Ah, right, okay.
Have you seen it? I think they only released like 4 issues and then it died. Yeah. But it was only ever trialed in Japan.
What I'll do is I'll sort that out. I'll try and sort that out for next week and we'll show it.
Yeah, definitely.
Spider Spruce says the tractor is not there now. And Todd says, and a video link to someone who actually built the trial parts of the first Enterprise D design. So, yeah, I'll get that ready for next week. And we'll show
it was a long time ago. 2012, maybe. It was a long time ago. But
and then Matt Dad says, good night, all. Good stream. So, yeah, fantastic. We are past 8. So, anything coming up this week, Kev?
Yeah, we've got Batmobile. I've got the bits here. So we've got the 66 Batmobile. We've got the rest of the Nissan Skyline as well and Enterprise. So everything this week.
Yeah. Normal stuff, normal days, really. Nothing much has changed. Everything's recorded, ready to go out. And, it's going to be, normal week. So not
normal
much
week.
exciting. Yeah. Unless DeLorean comes and I finish it, there we go.
Yeah.
So, right, let me just get the ending ready and everything. So, we'll be back same time, same place next week. I'll get that stuff all ready for next week that Todd sent me.
Yeah.
And then we'll go at the beginning. All it says for me to say, I've been Mark.
I've been Kev.
And we'll catch you all next week, guys. Bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye.